Welcome to the KFA Podcast, where our mission is to keep faith alive by kicking ass.
Brand is this big, vague idea for what you want people to know you by. That's really what it is. And I just started turning that into content, both audio and visual and social and then YouTube and then podcasts and this. And like, who are you? Why should people use you? You're a real estate agent that sells X and what? And you love cooking, and you love cats, and you love kayaking, and you love Boston sports, whatever it might be. What is your thing?
How people perceive you is how they are going to do business with you, whether it's fair or not, okay? Perception is reality. And so we want to make sure that we are putting out the right perception for the people that we want to attract to our lives and to our business.
I work with a lot of successful entrepreneurs that nobody knows, which is kind of my forte. I get a lot of people who have built successful businesses, but back to your point, they didn't have a personal brand. Nobody really knew who they were, and they're moving into kind of the next phase of their life, and they're like, I don't even know how to log into my Instagram. You know, so I get a lot of entrepreneurs that say, hey, Buck, I need to work on my personal brand.
Hi.
Colin Peterson.
Hey.
Welcome to the KFA Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
First time podcaster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not nervous or anything, right?
No, not at all.
No,
not. I haven't lost sleep over the last few days.
Good. It's, like I said, this is just we're just spitballing, having a conversation, and we get to learn about you and your business, and,
awesome.
and Kelsey and her business too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So thanks for being here first.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Collin Peterson. How long have you been in real estate?
Gosh.
What did you do before real estate?
Yeah. So I was actually in the restaurant business for about 25 years.
Okay.
Which kind of is funny because it seems like, you go work your way in the restaurant business and then all of a sudden you become a real estate agent, and it seems like it happens a lot. You see it a lot.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of an interesting dynamic in there, but yeah. So I was in that for 25 years. Completely enjoyed it. Enjoyed the the whole aspect of not only working on a team in the restaurant, but then you have these repeat guests and you try to build up this relationship with them.
The customer service.
And so they keep on coming back and they ask for you, and that's a part of it definitely helped out in moving into real estate.
Yeah.
I think there's a good segue for that. I've always said wait staff make great real estate agents because they're very attentive to the needs of the person at the table. They listen closely, they absorb the information, and they can act as almost a chameleon. If that person at the table is soft and quiet and reserved, you can operate the same way. But if they're like alive and having fun,
of course.
Same in real estate. Like, do you kind of have to be that chameleon in real estate?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's you have to mirror what the other person is doing. Another thing that I noticed too is that in the restaurant business, you have to really create a relationship within the first 15 seconds, and that's, so you got to be, you really have to listen to either the guest or your client and really get on board with where they're at, and then change how you do things and adapt to them.
Yeah. Read their needs a little bit.
So are you a big foodie now then?
I mean, yes. No. How about this? I do like different things. We're going out for Indian food tonight, and I'm not a big fan, but my wife loves it, and so I'm like, all right, we're gonna go for it.
You're a good man. So you say, hey, guess where we're going for dinner? And when she says her answer, you're like, yep.
So excited.
Yep.
Cool. So how long you been in real estate?
So I'm going into my 4th year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So it's obviously I came and I was a COVID baby.
Like right in the middle. So you jumped in right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, actually, interesting enough, one of my regular guests from my last restaurant job, Brandon Fox. He's coming to the pub all the time, and he's the one who asked me to come join his team, and I was very apprehensive about it because, you see some of the real estate agents that come into the bars late at night, and you go, I don't want to be like that. Yeah. and it's a completely different world, right? So
I feel like there's been a shift overall. Just there's some really great people in real estate on the agent side, on the lending side. I really feel like it's there's just some people in there that are in it for the right reasons. And the last couple of years and the troubles and the hard market that we found ourselves in, I think has allowed us to filter a lot of that out.
Yeah.
Where the people that are here now are just really authentic and genuine. And I mean, that's what drew me to you for sure, is just from the very first conversation, you have that personable ability to connect really quickly. So I'm sure that's what Brandon saw.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's important. I mean, especially now, you have to be transparent. Like you can't, whereas, I don't know how it was before, but you hear things, right? And I think the more transparent you are, the easier it is for people to trust you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's not a pitch, right? It's just who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that too is that when if you are transparent and if you are sincere when you're talking to people, you don't have to try to keep up some sort of facade.
Yes.
It makes it so much easier.
Yeah,
So,
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
It's that know, like, trust factor,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And once you get them to like you, the trust factor just comes along, and it just happens naturally. You don't have to chase people down the road with a sign saying, "I'll list your house."
Yeah. Yep.
They know. So you got in right during COVID,
I did. Yeah.
like right as the lockdown was happening.
So it was. Well, I want to say it was April of 2021.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Or April. Yeah. Somewhere in there.
So the restaurant industry took a beating.
It did, which I'm not gonna lie. That's why I left. It wasn't my choice to leave, but when that did happen, my wife and I were actually looking at purchasing a restaurant, and I just said, I don't want to do this. I'm away from my kids at night, and the family life isn't, and so I was like, I got to make a change, and so.
So you probably wouldn't have made that change otherwise.
Probably not.
So you got a
Probably
little
not.
push
I
in the right
got
direction.
a little push.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And now I think we're grateful for that push, right?
Yeah.
We're
for
grateful
sure.
for the way it played out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I still hold a strong place in my heart for the restaurant business and the people that work in it. That's a tough
hustle.
job.
That's a hustle.
That's a tough job, and
Right.
so. But if I had my choice, I'd likely never go back to it.
Well, like you said, the hours. Sorry, Larry. Like you said, the hours being away from your family at night, and I mean, that's the currency that's most valuable to me is time. It's sure we can make a lot of money and we can have all these great opportunities, but at what expense? How much time of that is away from my family and my loved ones. So I mean, I didn't even think about that. That had to have been difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Quality of life. I think people stress quality of life now over how much money that they're making.
Yeah.
The money is good and it's important, but if it comes at the expense of the people that you love and missed opportunities with your family and your kids, it's not worth it.
It's not balanced.
Absolutely.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the restaurants really quick. Do people come to you for like restaurant recommendations? Just out of curiosity.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
I was a bartender for many years, so I get a lot of like cocktail recipe things that people ask about. And it's kind of funny since I've been out it, not really a long time, but things have changed so much that I have no idea.
Right.
Really? So,
about fresh cocktails. I see people doing these amazing things. I'm like, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they have shows about it.
Yeah.
I mean, doing creative cocktailing, and I mean, it's extensive.
Yep.
It's a thing.
Mixology.
Yes,
Is that
that's
what
what
it
it
is?
is.
Mixology.
Yeah, no,
Mixologist,
it's a full-on art, whereas when
Yeah.
I was doing it, it was just turn and burn and get out as much as you can.
Right. So how much of that restaurant has helped you translate over to real estate? Like, did you take anything from that industry and apply it to real estate in general?
Yes,
Aside from the customer
100%.
service.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so, there is a lot of attention to detail within this industry, and same thing with the restaurant business and with the service and hospitality. The detail, the timing of things, that sort of thing. Not only that, but being able to adapt, and you have to adapt on the fly too, where it's not like, you don't know exactly what your day is going to look like, right? And so you have to be ready to just change it up whenever you need to. And, with the first restaurant job that I got, I was a 18-year-old and I was a busser and worked for this great company for a really long time and just had amazing training and really focused on connecting with the guests. And so I learned a lot from that. And so definitely take that from the restaurant business and what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So first transaction. What was that first transaction like?
Oh man, that was it wasn't easy, It wasn't, you work so hard for, a few months and not get anything, and then it's tough and you don't know what you're doing. And
was it somebody that you knew? Or
no,
was
it wasn't.
No, okay. Okay.
No, it was I believe I was circle prospecting, and I found somebody that was looking to buy.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing.
You caught a unicorn. That's what we call it in the marketing world. We call it a unicorn.
Yeah.
Circle prospecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, forgive my learning curve, but I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So you take a region or a neighborhood,
Okay.
or maybe like a radius,
Okay.
and you hammer them with as much marketing as you can, so
Okay.
that they get to know you, love you, and trust you.
Okay.
Yep.
You become top of mind. You develop
Yeah.
that top of mind awareness,
Okay.
and then they're like, "Hey, we need to sell our house. We've been getting postcards from Colin
Got it.
for the
Okay.
last 6
So
months."
it's the patient game.
It's
Yeah.
it's phone calls, it's door knocking, it's
Okay.
letters, it's
Boots
all
on the
of that.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And you just create that top of mind awareness. What's nice is you can do it in a concentrated area
Yeah.
instead
Yep.
of if you do it to 10,000, you're not going to be able
Sure.
to focus. But if you do it on 1,000, you can really focus, hyper focus.
Yep.
A little more saturated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Brandon kind of your mentor getting you into this? Did
Yeah,
he-
yeah,
okay.
yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. He, when I joined the team, like I said, I was very apprehensive about it, but I talked to him a lot and what I wanted to do and what I was expecting from it, and told him, I said, I don't want to be out until 9 o'clock at night, and I can't do that anymore. And so he definitely set my mind at ease. He actually invited my wife and I over to his house before I even joined the team to talk to them about it. And it was very important to me to make sure that my family was okay with that change too. So
yeah. So it's a unit,
good.
it's a family decision. So at what point do you feel like you felt the shift to where I'm not sure if I want to do this, but I'm going to give it a try, to I love this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
I'll be honest with you, it was probably about 5 months into it.
Okay.
Like I still even had reservations getting into it. I mean, it's anybody that does this right off the bat, that's not easy. Like
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Huh?
It's a lifestyle.
It is, and there's this emotional roller coaster that you go on, and it's hard to get used
With
to that.
every transaction feels like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster. And you can attest to that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. Yeah. Because even though you want it and you crave it and you feel like you're capable of doing it, the environment in the world doesn't always offer that in return, and so you have to be patient, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's a grit that I feel like you kind of earn your stripes as you progress through things. You don't automatically just start with that grit and perseverance. It's instilled in us as we kind of go through the motions.
I think it's important to have to go through that too, though. Because then you see you can if you start out and it's just amazing and you have no idea how hard it can be, you're gonna get smacked in the face at some point. So if you built that up and you know what that feels like, it's a lot easier.
So speaking of smacked in the face, let's talk about smacked in the face. 2023 was a smack in the face to a lot of people.
It was. Yeah. It was.
And you're a survivor now?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
third year in.
Surviving and thriving.
Yeah. No, it's and I'll be honest with you, it was that was harder than my first six months. Like it really was. Yeah, it really was. I had this plan that I wanted to do, and I didn't change it in time. I didn't take a look at my plan and say, okay, what needs to be adjusted? And it wasn't until honestly, probably maybe October of last year that I was like, okay, this needs to change.
You need to pivot.
And I did, and it was it wasn't easy, and there was I wouldn't say late nights, but like just hyper focused on what I needed to do, and the results weren't there right off the bat. Yeah. But started middle of December, beginning of January, I started to notice it. Yeah. And once you set your mind to doing it that way, you see that like having that hyper focus, it's hard to go away from that, and it's hard to go back to just kind of coming into work here and there. It's just 8:30 in the morning.
There's no 50%.
No.
You got to give it 100%. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to hear you guys say that if you have it easy from the get-go, that you won't be able to survive the tougher markets. And I think that's what we found last year. There was some people that came in for the wrong reasons. And I think the market was not kind, and they found their way out, and I'm kind of okay with it to a degree. I don't want to celebrate anybody else's failures, but at the same time, they weren't in it for the right reasons. And so now that we've kind of have this group on the agent side and the lending side where we really genuinely care about the experience that these homeowners are going through, it's really kind of amped up the industry. There's good feedback and people are happy, and I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you came into a team, which was a very well-established team, very well respected.
Yeah.
Great branding, by the way. Hey, when I see the signs, I know exactly who it is, and it doesn't even have to say a name. So, and I see the signs everywhere. So that your team has done a great job of creating that omnipresence already, which helps you. When you come into that situation. Coming in as a solo agent,
it's tough.
It's even tougher.
The people that can do that come in as a solo agent, I don't know for sure, but I have a pretty good idea that if I decided to try it as a solo agent to begin with, I don't think I would have made it.
Right.
You having that team and having the support there every day just to bounce things off of or ask questions was just so important. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that he found you. You weren't somebody who said, I want to be an agent, and I looked in the phone book, and this person is just killer in this area and does really, really well. So that's who I want to go work. Like, he saw something in you. And I think that has to be, it would feel like quite the compliment, to later realize that he's, well-rooted and successful in this area, and he saw something in you that he sees potential, So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How many times did he have that conversation with you, though?
What about?
No,
you'd be a great real estate agent.
No, and that's the thing is that when I was still working in the restaurant business, he didn't ask me that.
Oh, okay.
But after I left, I put up a social media post, and he had reached out, and so that's when he started talking to me about it.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yep. But no, there was definitely a relationship built there. Prior to that, it was a guest coming in. He tells this story about we had these cans of beer and they were pre-filled, and I said, hey, you should just get a 4-pack of these. So I don't know, man. I have a bunch of beer that you just poured into cans sitting in my fridge and for a long time. And I go, Brandon, really, how long those beers really going to sit in your fridge? And he's like, all right, sold.
Oh, shoot. That's too funny.
So relationship business. This is a relationship business.
It is.
And you've probably created several new relationships with every house that you sell. You're kind of cultivating that relationship. Where's your main source of business coming from now? Is it repeat referral?
It's definitely getting there.
Yeah.
At first it was just kind of, actually I had a lot of success with the for sale by owner area. That's kind of what I got into to begin with, that and circle prospecting. I can see some of that referral, some of that return client coming back already. So, and that, and keeping those relationships and building those relationships at the beginning so that they're strong. That's been really important for my business turning into that referral and repeat.
Yep. Yeah. So that's your main source of business now, still circle prospecting?
It changes. I mean, I think that you have to change it based upon the market and what the market's doing. If you just have one linear way of doing things, it's not going to work out. It's, you have to go in and you have to adapt and adjust to it. So just kind of look for what's going to happen next.
Yep. So what's going to happen next for you? What's on the horizon? What's on the to-do list?
On the to-do list, I think one aspect of my business that I really want to focus on is the social media side of things. I've always been, I haven't been a very outspoken person. I've been very quiet and kind of reserved, and so I realize that that's not going to help me out. And so I've been really trying to put myself out there and put myself out in front of people and do that. So I'm more noticed. You know, I
It's
know
tough.
that it's tough.
Promoting yourself.
So
is
this
tough.
is something very unusual for you then, doing a podcast and kind of
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very.
Well, you've done a great job masking that, because I never would have guessed that. I mean, I just never would have guessed that. It's always seemed very natural, and conversation has been easy. So you're doing a good job.
Well, thanks.
From my perspective.
Yeah. It was. It's. You know, I don't. It's something I've never done before.
Yeah.
You know, always nervous about being in videos, always nervous about speaking in front of people, always all that kind of stuff. And I never did it.
Yeah.
I don't even like people knowing it's my birthday. Like, I don't.
Really? You don't like it to be about you? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Self-promotion is the hardest thing, and I think every real estate agent struggles with that, because they don't want to put something out there and feel like they're self-promoting themselves.
Yeah.
You know, as a real estate agent. But I think there's easy ways to do it on social media where you're just telling a story. Like, you could tell a story about the last house that you sold, and like how you sold it, and like the things that you did to sell it, and like we came in and this wall was purple and we painted this wall to make it, you know, look better on photos. And I think telling those stories, because we're naturally attracted to stories, says you're a real estate agent without saying you're a real estate agent. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the goal right now with social, is trying not to be that pushy.
Yeah,
Hire me. Yeah.
You know, and a big thing too is not to overthink it. You know, and you talk about telling. I know it's.
That is my downfall right
So if
there.
you figure that out, will you let me know?
Yeah, no, and that's
Write a book for me, please.
Seriously, I know. And you look and you type it and you go, oh, that sounds weird. I'm not gonna write that. And go and reverse this and you know, and you're right. I think you know, your idea about telling a story, and again, it makes it so much easier because you're being transparent. Like, you're just saying, this is what happened. There's not any fluff you got to put in there. It's just this is a story,
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Do you do first-time home buyers?
I do.
You do. You've helped a couple of first-time home buyers.
I have.
already,
Yeah,
huh?
I have. Yeah.
What's
It's
that feeling like?
so you know, you have to understand where they're coming from. This is an absolutely terrifying thing for them. Like, it's a
But
whole
this
lot
is
of money.
where you, coming in from the restaurant industry and the hospitality industry, you take that over to your real estate now, because now you're putting yourself in their shoes.
That's what I was just going to say. That's the first thing you said, and that is not always the go-to for everybody, is let me put myself in their position. How would they feel? What are they thinking?
Yeah.
So that right there is, that's huge.
Yeah.
Pretty satisfying, though, huh?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. You know, I actually have some friends of mine that are first time home buyers, and you know, it's been tough. I mean, let's not be dishonest. It's not an easy process, and there's a lot of emotions that go through it. And so, you know, having somebody there to advise them and to let them know what's going to happen next, and you know, and giving them kind of an outline makes it a whole lot easier for them to get through it.
And you have that outline already, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of coming into a team. There's the processes and the services are ready to go. It's well established. The branding's good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you walked into like one of the best situations you probably could have, actually.
Yep. That worked out very, very well.
And it happened from a chance encounter at a place that you worked. So establishing, and I think Kelsey can probably attest to this. He saw in you what everybody else saw, is like, he has the confidence and the demeanor to be able to do this and to establish those relationships.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and you know, and you say a chance encounter, and I can see that on some level, but I also, it's like, you know, in that business, you cultivate relationships because you want people to come back, right? That's you know, the key to restaurant business is having repeat clients. Right. And you can have one person come in and spend some money, and then they never come back, and that's terrible. You're never going to make it. So creating those relationships with every guest that came in was super important to help the business grow.
Which completely mirrors our industry.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right. I have to ask.
Sure.
What's your favorite restaurant in town?
Oh, gosh.
So,
pressure's on.
Yeah. So every Friday we go out. My wife and two boys will go out for Pizza Friday.
Okay.
And you know, we try new pizza places and that sort of thing. I think it's called Basolo downtown.
Okay.
And then also Bortolomeo's Pizza. Bortolomeo's Pizza is, in my own opinion, the best pizza in town.
I've never been there.
Love that place.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the feel like? What's their specialty?
It's the ingredients are fresh. They've got a great tap selection.
Okay.
The interior's got like all racing bikes and that sort of thing. And it's just service is great, friendly, and it's a very, very consistent pizza too.
Okay.
So I mean, this
isn't a paid promotion.
No, but if
you need me to sell your house for you,
you asked me earlier if I was a foodie, and I love food, but man, a good pizza can't beat that.
I'm with you on that, especially on a Friday night with a cold beer.
I know, it's perfect. Yeah. The kids love it. We bring games and stuff. We sit at the table and play board games, and then get our pizza, and it's a good time.
Cool.
So the relationship piece is easy for you, right? I think that's pretty apparent. What's been challenging? What's been hard, other than the market?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly the challenging part is navigating the ups and downs, and keeping yourself on an even line, not letting yourself get too high, not letting yourself get too low.
Yeah.
I think that's been the most challenging part of it. Obviously the market and everything like that, there's challenges, but I have decided that there are a lot of things that I can't control in this. Like, I can't control what the rates are. I can't control what the market's doing, that sort of thing. So the only thing I can control is what I do. And so, if there's something that's a challenge that's out of my control, I just got to figure out a way to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody gave me some really good advice. He's in our office. I won't name him because he also doesn't like the spotlight. But he said, deal in facts. Don't let your emotions get in front of it. Just deal in facts. Did you cause this? Did you cause this to happen? No, you didn't. So you just have to deal in the facts. And that allows you to stay pretty level. It doesn't allow you to feel like, holy cow, I have to wear all of this. I have to wear the weight of all of this. I did this. And so just kind of keeping an inventory of when you're being fair to yourself, that just allows you to stay a little more real, because we can't wear the weight of it all. We just can't. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I think surviving 2023, one of the worst housing markets, is going to teach everybody who survived it a lot of lessons going forward. Because you can look back and say, like, well, at least it wasn't as bad as 2023.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know agents who were in 2008, and like they wear that with like a war badge
for sure
on their, they're like, I survived that.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where you can, and again, I don't know how everything is going to look in the future, but if 2023 does turn out to be as rough as we all thought it was, you can look back and say, I found that, and I found the grit to be able to push through it. And you're right, it is a badge of honor. You can say I did it. It almost crushed me, but I was able to bring it back around.
Right.
And it makes you appreciate those years that aren't so challenging, or that a little bit easier. You have a little more reward. It just makes you appreciate them a little bit more.
Yeah.
This business is secular, and it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be ebb and flow. So it's just accepting that with the good.
Yeah.
Accepting the bad with the good.
I got
not quite that bad.
Yeah. I got so much better after 2023, and it's because of that. It's because of that year that I got better.
Yeah.
Got better at what I
kept your head down and just said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it work. Yeah.
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 And not only that, but looking ahead to 2024 now, what are you seeing so far? Like, I'm seeing, we've seen more apps come in the last couple weeks than anything, so that's usually a good indicator. Are you seeing kind of a nice steady stream?
I am, yeah, definitely. People are, it's kind of like, that after the storm, and it kind of starts to clear out, and people are looking out and seeing where the sun's coming. I think people are still apprehensive a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's where it takes people like us on our side to talk to people about what's really going on.
Quiet the noise.
What makes them, what makes the most sense. And I'll be honest, there's some times where it doesn't make sense for people, and to be able to tell them that, just being honest with them, like, man, I might not be the right time.
Yeah. There's quite the expectation with, the counsel that we offer. They really come to us with some expectations that we should be able to have our crystal ball and say what's going to happen. And I mean, I get asked all the time, when's the right time to buy? When's the right time to buy? And I have finally come to a place where I just tell them, if you need a home, it's the right time to buy, because rates are never going to be perfect. Prices are never going to be perfect. But if you can buy a home at that time, you do it, and then you'll find yourself a time when rates are more favorable and you can kind of look at things for the long term. But other than that, we can't offer them any more certainty than that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's true.
Some people are discouraged by that, but that's keeping it real. And that I'm not going to overpromise you something that I have no control over. Like, going back to, I have no control over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So buyer focused mostly right now?
Listing focus.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely
Good.
on the listing focus. I think that it's, you will find buyers from a listing that you have.
You say that, but you have sent me a fair amount of buyers.
Well,
so.
yeah, I mean, I have,
He
but
listed
it's
their house.
Yeah. I mean, it's they've come from listings and open houses or circle prospecting around the listings, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important part. It's going to be looking for the listing side of things.
This is where I got to go over and restart.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Make sure. Look at that. I had 45 seconds left.
Stop. Did you set a watch or something?
I got it.
Look at, he's coming too. Look at you guys. You guys are on it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love our
Because
team.
it goes 30 minutes and then it just stops.
Oh,
Huh.
okay.
So I have
Interesting.
to time it and make sure, okay, 30 minutes. There we go. Anyway.
Okay. Got it.
So listing heavy. Listing heavy. Yep.
Yeah, definitely focusing on that. I like that side of the business. I'm doing it wrong. I love working with buyers. I think it's great, but I really enjoy that side of the business. I like I like building the relationships with the other agents too, that show the home and contacting them and asking them how they feel. That and I tell you, there have been offers that have been accepted just because of the way the agent has either contacted me or had communication with me, and I could tell, okay, this is going to be a transaction that's actually going to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and I'll see agents that just send off an offer in an email and not contact you, and I'm like, you gotta
Minimal work.
Yeah. And then, like this, if this is your first foot in the door, this is not looking good.
You're not leaving an impression.
Yeah. So,
And there's a lot of them.
there is.
Yeah.
There is.
There is, yeah.
And I've beat out offers for buyers for far less than what other people were offering, and
Exactly.
it's because we had that communication to begin with.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Because the chances of it closing are going to be so much greater. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really important to you then, is communication with all your relationships. Is that kind of the highest priority?
Yeah, absolutely. Because let's say I have a transaction with another agent, and later on down the road something comes up, and there's another, like, oh, I remember working with Colin. That was a great transaction. He did what he needed to do. Everything went as it should.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that offer as opposed to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
How, speaking of communication, when you're communicating with your clients back and forth, is delivering bad news, like I hate delivering bad news to people. Is that something that you've had to get used to?
No, I mean, I think it goes back to that initial relationship that you build, and if you have that strong relationship, I mean, delivering bad news sucks. It's just it's not fun. Nobody wants to hear it, right? But I think that if you have that relationship built already where they trust you, that bad news is a whole lot easier to handle.
Yeah.
In some ways, you almost have to operate as their therapist in some cases.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yes.
Spirits up.
Yeah. No, I actually had this client recently that she said, "Colin, you're like my therapist." I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Does that mean I can double my rate then?
Yeah. Just sign right here.
But I mean, if you think about it, that makes you so much more referable later on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shows you're taking the extra time. Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
I hate delivering bad news. I can't imagine having to call somebody and say your offer was rejected and they went with somebody else. We've got to keep looking. And
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I have to give news like that, especially if you didn't win an offer, multiple offer, I always try to figure out what that winning offer looked like. So I can tell my clients, this is what the winning offer looked like. And it may be a thing where I say, don't feel bad about this one. Like the person that had this offer,
we couldn't have touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Put a positive spin on it.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. And then say,
exactly,
this is what their offer looked like. This is what we're going to do next time Okay.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I've never heard anybody say that before. By the way.
It works out well.
Yeah. No, that's putting a positive spin on it with bad news,
And setting expectations too. I think, last summer especially, I had to preface a lot of my buyers with, don't be surprised if your first offer is not accepted, because it's really competitive. There's not a lot of inventory out there, and the people that are out shopping, there's a lot of competition. And so I think setting expectations so that they don't get their hopes up, especially with first-time home buyers. I think they walk into this with the assumption that I just need to find the right home, but once I do, it's mine, and that's not always the case. And it's hard because it can be devastating. But I would rather tell them that scenario when it's just that, a scenario. It's a fictitious home. It's not a home they've seen and they love and they're invested in it. It's a scenario that they've pictured in their mind and kind of prepared for.
Yeah. And I think that's really important when you first meet with a client to kind of go over that, go over the whole process and how that looks and what the and I always tell people, I said, I'm going to give you a bunch of information. Don't have to remember any of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there to let you know what's going to come up
Your
next.
test will be in an hour.
But just so they have an idea. And so there's some, they when it does come up, oh yeah, I remember him talking about that.
Yeah.
And you bought a house before you became a real estate agent, right? Maybe one or two houses? No. Really?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
We're working on it.
Yeah, working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the life of a restaurant person is not always the most lucrative.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it.
I was going to ask you, what was your previous experience with a real estate agent before that? But
yeah, no.
Well, like you said, they were coming into the restaurant and they kind of looked sleazy and just not like your cup of tea.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want, and that was what my wife was concerned about too. She's like, I don't want you at happy hours every night going looking for business. Like, I don't want to do that either.
And isn't it crazy because you're in it and it's so different, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to, but there are people that do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not what I want to do.
Hey, everybody's got their own unique style.
Exactly.
You know.
You find your people.
Yep, that wasn't a fit for me. So,
so back in the old days, did I just say that? Back in the old days, prospecting looked a lot different than it does today. Now social media is kind of a tool to prospect people. You can tell stories on there, but back in the old days, you had to pick up the phone and you had to call people, and you had to stop by their house and you had to knock on their door and you had to send them direct mail and you had to advertise in the yellow pages. And I think being a real estate agent in the digital age is so much easier now than it ever has been in the history of being a real estate agent. I feel like there's so many tools and technologies available. Do you struggle with the technology?
Sometimes, it can be overwhelming, some of the stuff that they have available to you, and kind of trying to filtering it out and like what's going to make the most sense for me. And yeah, you're right. There is the ability to get in contact with people is a whole lot easier. Everybody else has that though too, right? And so, while it is easier to get in front of people and maybe reach out to people, how you interact with people is so much more important now than maybe it was in the past, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Are you using AI?
I am a little bit. I am really, really working on it, and I see the benefits of it. It's something that I wouldn't say that I am fully knowledgeable in, but I'm working on it.
I had to ask. I'm an AI guy, so I kind of had to ask. Have you been to any classes on it?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No, just been kind of self-taught.
Well, you're coming to my next one.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, if you're a listing agent, AI is one of the best things in the whole wide world to help you with that marketing piece and getting the property that you listed in front of the ideal client and using the marketing strategy
and really, if you can kind of put these things in a certain order, it just takes the work out of it, takes the thought out of it. It can really save you a lot of time. And that was my biggest struggle with social media and all these different avenues. Was it still took me time to set up what I was going to put on social media. I mean, I was overthinking it, so that's battle number one. And number two, it was like I still have to create this content, and so that's when I was like, I can't, because my family's more important and these other things are too important. So I ruled it out, and it was foolish, because it's such an advantage that we can give ourselves, and we can expand our reach to such a degree that we couldn't otherwise, like you said, because otherwise you have to be a walk away or a phone call away. So finding the balance to where I can make it automated, but it's not taking a ton of my time. I mean, I haven't mastered it by any means. Like Larry, I'm a work in progress. but like you, I see the benefit in doing it, you know, and I just want to make sure I'm staying authentic and reflective of who I am, who I want to be, and find my people.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's probably watching this video on social media right now. So
yeah, it's true. It is true.
Which is the whole reason behind podcasts like this, is to create content to get people to know who you are, so that they see you, they see your face, they hear your voice, they understand who you are and how you operate, and that attracts your ideal client right to you, right? Yep. So that's, and you know, it's weird. In real estate, you have to wear so many different hats. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? Yeah, you do. You know? Yep. The negotiation piece, you have to put on your negotiation hat, you have to put on your listing, you know, going to a listing appointment hat, your marketing hat, your business hat, your bookkeeper hat, your therapist hat. You know, there's so many hats that you guys wear. So I applaud successful real estate agents who have figured it out and done it. So well done. Well, thank you. I mean, you know, kind of what we talked about before, you know, the more transparent you are and the more real you are, the easier it is to do all that kind of stuff. Like you can wear all those hats, but if you are who you are through those things, it's so much easier to do. People see that. They see the authenticity.
I think that is kind of what allowed us to connect, because we really met under unconventional terms, right? Like I reached out to him with text and I was like, hey, I'm a loan officer in Clark County.
And I'll tell you what, like I get those things and I never respond to them. I don't know what it was. I'm just like, I'll text back. Yeah. I know it was a great conversation. We talked for like what, 20 minutes? 20, 30 minutes?
It was really nice. Yeah. And it was really cool to just see that connection even over the phone. And I feel like it's continued to grow, and we've built a great relationship. But you're so right, because it's not always the case. But I guess I'm just trying to say that that's a testament to your ability to just really stay raw and stay who you are. And that translated even over the phone, you know, and it made me want to connect with you and get to know you more. So you're doing a good job.
Thanks. Well, I feel the same way about you for sure.
Good.
I feel like both of you guys are like super approachable.
Good.
Like
Good.
I've been in real estate marketing for 15 years, and I know some agents that are 100% not approachable. Like if you saw them, you'd be like, oh, I can't talk.
They're having a bad day. I'm staying away.
I can't talk to them. You know, and you guys just have this natural, casual demeanor that's like super approachable.
Good deal.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So well done. All right, so 4 years in, successful. Feel like you're successful so far, right?
Yeah, I feel like you know. I mean, you know, I guess I didn't really know what to expect from it, right? But you know, I've been able to continue the business, so I guess with that, I feel like I've been successful.
Right, and you've had to renew twice now.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Conscious decision, right?
Yes. You're like, I'll write the check. Okay.
Yeah, that's always the hard part, is doing the continuation hours and
all those things stuff. Yeah.
So now, you know, hey, you're in it for the long haul now. So I feel like once you're in it for 5 years, you're probably going to be in it for 50.
Yeah. So, God, I hope not that long.
Yeah. But it does kind of get a hold on you, though, you know, where it just you get addicted to the lifestyle a little bit in a healthy way, you know. But it's like we were talking about, there's ups and downs, but those ups, and when somebody, you know, is getting keys, or you're having those big wins and those big moments, I mean, that's what refills your cup. That's what keeps you going. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's quite the reward.
I've got more than several clients that I still just talk to. Yeah. Yesterday I was up in the Castle Rock area looking at their property, and there's clients that I found through circle prospecting. And this is maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years ago or so. And they're considering selling their home, but I'll call them every month or so just to say hi. But I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to be up there. I'll stop by your house and say hi. And I went over there and pulled up to the house, and he was back in the shop. He was working on a little wood project, and I said,
that sounds like Castle Rock.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, where's your wife? And he said, I'll go knock on the back door. And I go in, and she was baking cookies.
Aww.
And that sort of thing. We just had a great conversation for about an hour and a half, and some of it was about housing, some of it was about listing a home, but most of it was just kind of what's going on, how are you feeling. And and it was a great conversation. And then I got chocolate chip cookies. So who can be mad about that?
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that.
No, not at all.
There might not be any business from it right now, but you got chocolate chip cookies, and you might list their house in a year or two.
Well, and that's the whole thing too. Yeah. I mean, there may not be any business right now from them, but you build those relationships, and when somebody else says, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling my home," they're going to say, "You should call Colin."
Yeah.
Yep, it's that nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and I can't tell you how many people I've talked to somebody one time from a circle prospect and then never contact them ever again, and then they don't understand why they didn't call them back. So you've figured out the secret. You didn't overthink that. So that's huge. That relationship building that's what this business is all about. Is about building those relationships.
It is for sure.
And they're going to be the first person that you think you're going to be that person they think of when somebody says, "Oh, we're going to list our house and move to Texas or Idaho or Montana or wherever." Yeah,
it's true.
You'll be like, "Hey, we got a guy for you." Are you on their fridge? You have a magnet
I am.
on their
fridge?
Yeah.
Yep, I do have a magnet on the fridge.
Calendar.
I do. Yep.
So
it's up there.
I know somebody that does that. He goes, whenever I go to a home visit, I always bring a magnet with me, and I just put it on their fridge.
I do.
Non-optional.
Yep. Actually, I went to a listing appointment. This was kind of when I first started, and I got a phone call from this gentleman. He said, "Hey, I'm not sure how, but your business card is on my fridge, and we need to move. And so would you come over and talk to us?" I'm like,
funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. And I had done some circle prospecting again and had a conversation and just sent a card. "Hey, it was great to talk to you today. Here's my card. I know you're not making movies anytime soon, but here's my card." And he just put it up on the door, put it up in the fridge. It was great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to a listing appointment and seeing other real estate agents' magnets on the fridge? Look for them now.
Yeah, I was gonna say not that I've noticed, not that I noticed, but I have gone to listing appointments where I've seen my magnet up on the fridge.
Cool.
So.
What was
cool.
that?
Oh, cool.
What was the first listing appointment like?
My first solo one.
Okay, yeah.
My first solo listing appointment was it was scary. They signed with me, but it was scary. You know, you want to make sure that you're saying all the right things and not the wrong things, and is this the right order, and did I say something wrong, and
not
all the things
over-promising.
I know all these things going through your head, and it was a little bit terrifying.
But you got it.
Yeah, got it, and they're happy, and I still talk to them every so often.
I was gonna say that one probably sticks with you a little more than the rest. Yeah.
Yep.
What's gonna stick for a long time? You always remember that first listing appointment that you go on solo, but you nailed it. And then that gives you the confidence to go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And now it just becomes a no-brainer. You probably, do you have a presentation that you pull up or anything like that?
You know, I do. There's some things that I want to touch on, but to be honest with you, it's more so when I meet with them, just kind of asking them asking them where they're at and what's important to them. Yeah. And I wouldn't say tailor the listing presentation to that, but we more so just have a conversation.
Right. Get to know me.
Yeah. And if the CMA is important to them, then we go through that. If it's not important, then we don't go through it. I'll leave it for them, but sometimes those things aren't important.
So you don't put a lot of emphasis on that. You just get to know them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I will prepare for my listing appointments like I do for every single listing appointment. Yeah. I'll know the neighborhood, I'll know their house, I'll know the comparables, I'll know what the market's doing, I'll know what interest rates are, time on market, all those kind of things. So I prepare the same way for every single listing appointment. But when I get there, that's when I start figuring out what's important to them. Yeah.
The bartender comes out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh shoot.
No, 100% that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I think you're just such a natural at this, because it's easy for you to prioritize that first, and that's not always the case. Sometimes it's I got to get this listing, or I got to get this because I got to put food on the table, or I got to, it's you just how you're prioritizing things is allowing you to be natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's and if you put your client first, it's just see what they need from that.
Yeah, but again, you're saying it lightly, but it's not always easy for everyone to do. So.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pat you on the back.
No,
Let me do it, Colin.
Right.
Let me.
All right, thanks. Okay, I appreciate it.
Well, Well, in the interest of time, we're going for 45 minutes, so
Okay.
we'll wrap this up. But this was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
This is great to get to know you and your business and your background and where you came from. And this was a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot less nerve-wracking than I anticipated it being.
Yeah. I know the first time I talked to him, he's like, you want me to do what?
It's like, I don't know.
I'm like, really? It's okay. It's like, I mean, I still get nervous. It's not like I've done a lot of them, but I still get nervous too. You know, I mean, you're being vulnerable a little bit and put on the spot. But I just knew you had a good story to tell and that people would want to hear it and get to know you.
Thanks. Yeah. No, like I said, thanks.
I want to do this a year from now.
Yeah.
With you as well, and we'll talk about how awesome 2024 was and how your business went up by 50%.
For sure. Yeah, no, I would love to have that conversation.
Yeah, I would love to have that conversation
Yes.
too. Trust me. I know Kelsey would love to have that conversation as well.
Very much.
But thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks
It was
for having me.
great conversation. So good stuff.
I love it.